All right, we are live. It's so exciting, right? It's always so exciting when you go live. Um, Hello, everyone. This reminds me of my back in the days. As by way of background, I am a journalist, television writer, producer, and I thrive on last minute issues and deadlines and stuff. And so please forgive me. And I want to thank everybody who humored me because this was a very, very last minute project that I threw together yesterday. So thank you very much. But I know it's like I'm not in the news business anymore. I don't have to do all that stuff. But here I am. And for this live conversation about motherhood and all that goes with that. And thank you so much for everybody for joining us. And we have some wonderful women. Now, I have to tell you, there's someone who is having issues getting on. There's a couple of people issues getting on. And oh, we have another person who just joined us. And let's see, there she is. Woohoo, Miss Lisa. So we're going to go and I'm going to take it where I can see everybody in the room. And let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take it where I can see everybody in the room. So that way, woo, there we are. Yay, 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 yay. Hi, everybody. Hi,
Hi.
everybody. And let's see. Oh, we have one more. Jennifer is coming. Jennifer just joined the room. Oh, look at that.
Hello.
Hey. Hi. This is so exciting. Oh, my goodness. Look at my Ageless Glamour Girls and Ageless Glamour Girls Rising. Tamara, I just want to let you guys know she's an Ageless Glamour Girl Rising, and thank you for being here. So again, this is a live conversation about motherhood, the ups and downs, the everything in between. It just so happens that I'm not a mother, but I play one in everyday life. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm one of those women who always wanted a mother. I mean, wanted to be a mother, and it just didn't happen. And so, but I'm one of the best ageless aunties on the planet. Okay, ageless auntie, that's me. And they say, how they say grandparents will spoil the children, right? It's like, please, a childless ageless auntie, they don't bring your children around us, all right? Because it's like whatever they want and then some. You can have it. You can have whatever you like. You know that song. Anyway, all right. I'm so glad that you guys are here. So we're going to introduce our guests before we go any further. We have Angela, we have Tamara, we have Jennifer, and we have Lisa. So I'm looking at the screen. So Angie, you want to give your introduction?
Okay, hello. I'm Angela. I normally go by Angie.
Uh-huh.
I am a wife of going on 45 years this year.
Oh, girl,
Am a grandmother
God bless
to
you.
four.
Grandmother of
uh,
four. Mm-hmm.
Grandmother of four. Unfortunately, my oldest grandchild, my grandson, he passed away 3 years ago.
Oh.
But he's always in my heart, mind, body,
Mhm,
and soul.
mhm,
Uh, we
mhm.
have we had two grandsons and two granddaughters, and we have three daughters who provided us with the four grandchildren. And I'm a
Wow.
retired grandma who spoils her grandchildren to death.
Ooh, girl, I love that. I love one of those. One of those.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
have been that kind too. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. We're going to go to Jennifer next. Tamara, she was having issues with her camera earlier, her computer. So Jennifer, welcome,
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Jennifer McClure. I am a wife of almost 26 years. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
Um,
right. The year before us. The year actually before us. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I am a mom to three children,
Mhm.
two of which graduate from different institutions this month. I
Girl.
have. So this is my beginning of empty nesting. So I have one graduating from college and another from high school this month. So busy, busy, busy.
Okay, nice,
And I'm
nice.
a real estate agent in there somewhere.
in there somewhere. I love it. There somewhere. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us. And Miss Lisa.
Well, thank you for having me. I am the mom of two boys that were both special needs, and I've been outreaching for over 2 decades to help parents who have special needs children. Children are very dear to my heart because, in addition to my own children, even before I had children, I worked in toy design and animation, and my goal has always been to make children smile, laugh, and so I love children. I wish I could have more actually, but I'm 65, so I'm jealous about all the grandchildren you have because I have two boys, and that the one just got married, and I don't know when the grandchildren are coming for me. It seems like the kids today are going a little slower in some cases.
Oh my goodness, they are.
Right?
From what I can see, right?
Statistically, they say that right now, between the ages of, I don't know, if it was 20 and 30 something, like it's down significantly.
Yeah.
But then I also run a nutritional company, IQ'd, and that's my baby. It's my other baby. And just so you know, I have a fan blowing on me because I had a flood in my house and we're having work done in the house. And one of the workers broke my air conditioner. I'm in South Florida. Thank you.
Whoa.
So it's like hot in here. So I have a fan blowing on me.
Oh yeah. And yeah, that's a must. You need something much bigger than
this is just so you know, the background here is not my house. That's
right. I recognize that background.
It's not my house.
Oh my God. No, you just mentioned, Lisa, about you're not a grandmother yet. So and Jennifer, yours are younger. I know your kids are younger now. Angie, were you one of those mothers with your 3 daughters who said, looking at that watch, I'm like, when are those babies coming along? I need to be a grandmother.
No, not really. When I first became a grandma, actually, I knew before my daughter even knew that she was pregnant. I guess a motherly instinct.
Right.
I guess you could say, but I knew she was pregnant before she knew she was pregnant. And she kept saying, "No, Mom, I'm not." I said, "Yes, you are. I've been through this 3 times. I kind of know some of the signs." And she eventually did go to the doctor. And I believe she was all close to 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Before she found out. Yeah.
Wow.
She was close to 3 months before she found out she was pregnant.
You know what I really believe? I believe we don't really have the science to it yet, but I believe there's pheromones that because I'm the same way, even with people I don't know, I think that we can, maybe it's sensing it, but maybe they're not that you literally smell it, but you might be picking up the scent of pregnancy because you know how they say not motherhood, but when you're dating and you are you're very happily in a relationship, that's when all these men are trying to come after you or something. But if you're anxiously looking for a man, they'll avoid you. It could be the same thing with the pheromones that you set off. So maybe that happens when you're pregnant.
Maybe so.
Maybe so.
I know.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. And Lisa, you said something earlier about you're jealous of all the grandmothers, and
yes, I am.
And me, it's like when I was younger, I didn't care about the white picket fence, the husband, the career. I just wanted a daughter, right? That's all I wanted all my life, and it didn't happen that way. But it took until about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not kidding you. I would still get teary-eyed. I should have been in therapy for this years ago. I would still get teary-eyed, when I'm around little kids, and I'm like, "Oh my God, where's my kid?" It's funny when I met my husband.
You can foster. I don't know,
I
foster.
Yes, and I should have adopted back in the day, but when I met my husband, I was 40, 41, 40, 42, and he's like, "Why haven't you had any children? Why haven't you gotten married?" And I said, because I hadn't met anyone I wanted to do those things with. And I told him, and I said, as a matter of fact, I was in touch with a clinic in LA to, do the artificial insemination. It's who's in who's your daddy? I don't know. But, and I said, and so I'm working on trying to get pregnant because I want to have a baby. And he says, "Oh, wait a minute, I might want to help you with your plans." I'm like, "Oh, okay." But so we tried, and I'm so blessed because I have two wonderful stepchildren. So I'm a bonus mom, and my daughter Amber is the one that introduced me to that title, bonus mom, and I love that. But yeah, so when when you're looking at social media and you see that everybody's going to visit their kids and or their grandkids. So what is it like being a grandparent? You know?
Me being a grandparent, oh my gosh. I love being a grandparent because my maternal grandmother,
Mhm,
she didn't get
mhm.
to live to, I was the last grandchild she actually got to see.
Okay. Okay.
My maternal grandmother had 8 kids,
Mhm,
five girls, 5 girls, 3 boys. No, 6 girls, two
mhm,
boys. Oh God. And she was 40, about 43 when she
mhm.
died. And
Oh.
like I say, I was about the last grandchild she got to see.
Mhm,
And I kind of almost lost my own mother when I was
mhm,
14.
mhm,
A lot of crazy stuff. And I thank God she's still here. And
mhm.
once I became a grandmother, to me, it's almost as if my grandmother is in my soul, in my spirit, and
Right.
I'm
Right.
getting to live and do and see my grandkids as she
Mhm,
didn't get the chance to
mm,
be
mhm,
able
mhm,
to do that. So
mhm.
being a it's like your legacy is continuing.
Right.
And having lost my grandmother like that at such a young age, having
Mhm,
almost lost my own mother at 14 at a young age, then
mm,
to myself, I almost passed away at 28 after having found out I had ovarian cancer.
mm. So
Oh,
glad you're
So,
here.
and at
Wow.
that time, I'd had my 3 kids. And the
Right.
young was 3.5 at the
Mhm,
time.
mhm, mhm,
So I like I say, I look at my grandkids now and I realize all the blessings I've been given to
mhm,
still be here, to be
mhm,
able to see my grandkids. Because first we had the 2 grandsons,
mhm,
and
mhm,
Mhm.
they're in their 20s. Well, the oldest one would be 28 this year, and
mhm,
the youngest grandson just turned 25. Then, about 15 years later, we end up with the granddaughters. So
mm.
they're 8 and 9. And
Oh.
even though we had a ball with the grandsons,
Mhm,
we're
mhm.
having an even bigger ball with the
Yeah,
granddaughter.
baby.
See, that's right. The girls, that girl connection. I'm telling you. So, see,
Yeah.
there's so
Jennifer,
much
Lisa,
more.
what you all
There's so
have to
much
look
more to
forward
choose from
to.
in clothing.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
What you say,
The
Lisa?
girls, there's so much more. I had 2 boys, so I know. Like, it's not as
Right.
fun as it is with the girls. Like, there's so much more with the
So much
girls.
fun. And that's why, like I said a few
Oh,
minutes ago, I'm like, I just want a little girl. That's all I wanted
uh-huh.
in this life, just a little girl, like to comb
The
her hair.
girls are a riot. I mean, they just started taking karate about
Oh,
I
ago.
remember those
I
days.
love that. I
Oh
love that.
God, yes. And
Uh-huh.
we've been there and we picked them up, and they are
A joy.
totally different from the boys. To
Yeah.
me, they're
Yes.
Yeah.
than the grandsons were. They're for
But,
2 little girls, they even eat like boys too.
oh my, that's funny. So yeah, so I'm telling we're not against little boys, but we just favor little girls.
Yeah.
Now Jennifer has two daughters
I
and
do.
Hmm.
one son, and
Yes,
you
I
guys
do.
all yeah, they're all three of your favorites. Like there were three of us.
They
It's like
are.
yeah, yeah.
You can't help it. Like, because they're each these little individual personalities. They always have been.
Mhm,
I do wonder, like, had it been a reverse order, if my son had been the oldest, how that would
mhm,
have been.
uh-huh,
But he's
mhm,
been the baby.
mhm.
And so my girls have let me know that I treat him differently quite
Oh.
often.
Yeah, see, my brother was the firstborn, and it's like my sister and I, Marsha, were like, "Oh yeah, he's mom's favorite. Oh yeah, he's daddy's favorite. Yeah, he was the firstborn. What can I tell you?" But anyway,
Each
uh,
one says the other is the favorite. And when we're asked, it's
uh-huh,
always, um, who am I speaking to in the moment? Of course, you're my favorite, but so is he, and so is she. Like,
I
you know.
remember, I remember asking my grandmother because I was really close to my grandmother. Just asking her one day, and she had like 13 or 14 grandchildren. I asked her, I said, Mama Ruby, I said, am I your favorite grandchild? Am I your favorite? And she's like, now you know I can't have favorites, But in my heart, I was like, I was favorite. Then if you talk to my other cousins, they're like, no, I was the favorite. So there's that. Now, we always, I don't know about you guys, but all those little sayings and stuff that my mother told me back in the day, they just stick with me. So what is something that your mother or grandmother used to say that make sense now? Because my mother used to say when I was younger, she's like, I would ask her a question. She was like, just keep on living. And so it wasn't until I got older that I got it. I'm like, and she didn't finish the sentence, just keep on living, you'll see. But it was just like, just keep on living. And sure enough, bam, you do start seeing stuff. And so yeah. So what are some of those sayings? God bless the child who has his own. That's a popular one. And how do you apply those sayings to today?
So can you all?
Somebody broke up. Who's talking?
Can you all hear me? This is Tamara speaking.
That's Tamara. Hey, Tamara.
Hey.
We don't see you, but we hear you.
I don't know why. I can see me on the screen, but I'm here.
Okay.
I'll do a quick introduction and then I'll answer your question.
Yes.
Eldridge. I am 38-year-old mom, and I had my child when I was 32. So I'm rising, but I'm almost there.
Yes.
I host a motherhood podcast called Nailed It Motherhood Podcast. And the reason I host that podcast is because I have a daughter who I am very blessed with, but did not want. I wanted a son.
Oh, boy, mama. You want to be a boy, mama.
But God said no, and blessed me with the busiest, goofiest, most glamorous, most intelligent little girl that I never knew I needed. So, she keeps me on my toes. But to answer your question, it wasn't necessarily a phrase that was like something that you carry on, but it was just kind of like a warning in love that nobody will have your back like your sisters do. Said it all the time, and I'm the second daughter of 4 girls, actually 5 girls. One passed away as an infant, but I'm learning that of all the phases of life that I've gone through, college, high school, adulthood, living in Philadelphia, I still don't have anybody as tight as my sisters. We had rocky relationships growing up, but moving and living in the city with them, I learned how to lean on them now. So that's something that I hold with me. And my mother is no longer with us. So we definitely have to keep each other up. So I appreciate that little warning for us, or that advice for us.
Yeah.
I can bounce off of that because I have a mother who grew up during the Depression. I'm 65. My mom is 98 now. And I had asked her if she wanted to be on this today. So she's a very interesting person. She's still totally there. And I agree about sisters. I have one sister, one brother, but my mom was an orphan, and she did have a sister, but she had no family, like no mother, no father. And some of the things I learned from her, like we had aunts growing up that I absolutely thought of as my aunt. And as I got older, their family did not understand why I was calling their mother my aunt when we were not related. But to me, we're related. Like they were blood to me, more so than my mother. We found out when I was 18, I found out my mother had some very wealthy relatives out in California that, during the Depression, they weren't able to take the children in because it was just very hard. But even though they're my blood relatives, they meant nothing to me. Where my supposed not relatives were like, I thought of them as my relatives. So I think what I learned from my mom is that I remember this story. She was with somebody at work who was hysterical crying because their mother had just passed. And she sat down next to him. And you know what she said that you're just so lucky that you had a mother. I wish I had a mother that I could cry over. I never had a mother. And that always stayed with me because my dad died when I was 23. My mom is still here, but I always think like we have to be grateful for the time we have with people that, you know, like we were saying, like people can die young or people can stay around, but just to cherish those people while they're here with us.
That is so true. That is so true. And yeah, just call up that phone, go visit, do all of that. And to another one of your points, yeah, you know, some of your biggest supporters are not necessarily blood, you know, supporters. And there's so many people. And I think it was in my 20s that I realized that, yeah, I was, you know, I had a great childhood, you know, mother, father in the home and all that. And I love my mother, but everybody does not have, you know, that kind of relationship with their mother or their sister. And so you have to navigate that in this life too. And it's like, you know, when you wish a happy Mother's Day, everybody, you know, they might, you know, whatever, their mother's not here or they're, you know, they haven't spoken to their mother or sister in years. And so you have to take all of that into consideration too and think about that. But that sounds amazing. Your aunt, the extended family. It takes a village, as we know. It really takes a village. So let me ask you guys a question. What feels most different about motherhood today compared to when you were raised? And of course, we know the first thing I'm thinking about is social media. You know, we have to deal with that.
No, there
is a beast.
Outside of that, I think all of us realize, think about when we were little, we would go out, no phones, come back, you know, we were told come back when the lights come on. And remember the commercial, Anthony, it's Wednesday, and you know, like he'd be running through the streets to come home for a spaghetti or whatever. Like now it's like parents are like helicopter, like they do not let their kids out of their sight. Like, don't even let your kids play in the front yard. God forbid they go bike riding down the street. I mean, right? Like we used to go trick or treating by ourselves. Now it's like a whole group, you know, the parents and they like everybody's, you know, herding up the kids. And we did that all by ourselves. Like think of, I used to walk to kindergarten. I walked to kindergarten. I was like 5 years old and we like the school was not across the street. It was like a couple of blocks. Like we had so much more responsibility as children. Not that we went to work. It wasn't that bad. But
No. I think there was just a level in all of that independence. It like built this strength within us that we kind of robbed some of our kids of by being overprotective and doing so much for them. But part of it is how our world has changed. And I do think social media is a huge part of that. That just we learned how to be communicative because we had to, right? I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm going to ask for what I need to ask. I'm more likely to get a text from my kids and they could be in the other room. We could be in the same room and I might get a text. And I'm like, okay, I tend, and they know now, okay, you know, mom doesn't look at her messages. You have to actually go talk to her. Like it needs to be a thing because I won't. I'm like, why am I texting you? And we're in the house. But I think all of that independence and freedom that we had, it's something we have to actually work for and fight for these kids, even as grandparents. Because I see my mother and my mother-in-law trying to get into the communication via, you know, social media and text messaging. My mother won't touch it, actually. She'll text, but social media, she won't touch. My mother-in-law, yes. My stepmom, yes. But it just kind of depends, I guess, on the person, but it doesn't take the place of being present.
Right. Yeah. And anyone else have any experience? But I just want to get back to something you just said, Jennifer. You know, they to me, what I can see is that parents and grandparents, they keep a closer eye on their kids. And is that because, I mean, bad apples were around when we grew up too? Is it that we didn't know about it because there was no social media, you know, and a gazillion TV stations where you can hear about the news or, you know, because I do remember, you know, my brother, he would be out on his bike all day long, you know, and nobody
But
cared.
hasn't
Like,
everything changed though? Like even the quality of what I used to watch on TV as a kid
hmm
versus what is available to me now.
hmm
It I think it's all fed into how the world has changed and made it so much different
hmm
for them. It is scary. It's
hmm
very scary out there. So
Absolutely.
I've been a helicopter. I think there were times where my kids loved it and benefited greatly from it. And then
Mhm.
after a certain point, it was like, this is just overbearing, mom. Like, cut the strings. Like, it's
hmm
too much. So there's a balance, I think, with whatever's currently happening in our world.
hmm
It's,
hmm
it's not all great. It wasn't then, but
Oh,
it
don't
is
even use the word
amplified
great.
now.
It's not great.
It's not
It's not
great.
great again.
It's just more amplified now, right? Like we know
Well,
so much more that we probably don't want to know,
hmm
Yeah,
you
hmm
know?
agree with that, Jennifer. I would absolutely say that people are more aware now. One, because of social media, because social media is the news,
Yes,
and
sadly.
and people, they a lot of people are desensitized and they push
Mhm.
the bad things that are happening, and they don't necessarily highlight the good things that are happening. And so as a rising ageless glamour girl, I can say that I'm at that place where there that balance piece is what I'm struggling with,
Mhm.
because everywhere I turn around, I'm listening. I work in education, so that's one. I know the conversations. I also work in the Office of Equity, so I see the Title Sixes and the Title Nines coming in. Um,
hmm
so I'm hyper vigilant when it comes to the things that could happen to my child.
hmm
I also sometimes need a break and I just want her to go. And then when I want her to go play, she's like, but I want to play with you. And I'm like, you need some friends, girl, go play. But I have to choose when I want her to play and who I want her to play with. So I'm at that place where I'm like, I have to be very watchful, because a lot of people are just bold and will just act on their impulses nowadays.
Yes.
That's because
Right.
we take time and we keep pouring it into people's minds that that's okay, and these people aren't getting caught. And so I think it's hard to answer that question. Um, but it's very different from when I was growing up, because I never saw my mom because she was always working.
Mhm.
We were always outside playing, and
hmm
I'm okay, you know. I believe I was okay.
Right.
There's
Right.
just a busyness, I think, to the world too. Like we do have to work so much more, but you probably also grew up with other kids whose moms were working too, right?
Yeah,
Like other, so then there's like this collectiveness of, you know, I don't know what to call it. Like it's not sibling love, but you have these friends that are in the same boat as you when we're able to live in communities, right?
Right. Right. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm very close to my cousins. My
Mm-hmm.
first cousins, they were like siblings because you were
Yes.
there together. You were in the same town
Yep.
and you saw each
Mhm.
other all the time. But now everybody is so spread out. And I feel so sorry for a lot of the youngins because they're
Mhm.
not getting to know their cousins like I did because everybody's in a different state,
Like
you know?
that's definitely been my kids' story. Like, and they've told us that too. Like, we didn't grow up the way you did. We didn't grow up on a block like you did, or because I knew my neighbors. I remember a neighbor coming across the street when her husband was out of town, asking my dad, "Could you get my son in line for me?" Like, it was a community of neighbors,
Mhm,
and we haven't necessarily always lived in that
mhm,
atmosphere,
mhm, mhm.
where everybody's in their homes. Not that you don't know them, but we're not together like that, you
Right.
know, kind of thing. And then we've always, because of my husband's work, we've moved quite a bit,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
nowhere that we've moved have their first cousins been. So most of them are all together, but we're the ones that have been away. So they miss out on all of that love. I mean, we try to keep them as connected as we can, but
Mhm.
it's different. It is different.
Yeah, yeah,
Sounds a bit
yeah.
like me with us living
And
here in Texas.
mhm,
Most of our family members are still back in Illinois. So we're kind of, I guess you would somewhat say, the black sheep because we
mhm,
moved away
Right.
We moved
Yeah.
away
Right.
from everyone else. But Mark, you know how living back where we're from, it got too rough, and
Mhm. Mhm.
we just couldn't take it anymore.
Mhm. Mhm.
Though in the years we've been living here, we have tried to get other family members to come and move here. It's a little rough when you're first getting here if you don't have the transportation, if you
Mhm.
don't have a good job. It's a little rough compared to being back in the East St. Louis area
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
Illinois.
Mhm.
And we still can't get anyone to move here. And we've been here going close to 25 years.
And uh-huh.
And we still cannot get anyone to move here. They keep wanting us to move back there. And we just don't want to. We're
Yeah.
here. We've got become adjusted. Like I say, our grandchildren are here.
Mhm.
So they really don't know the larger side of the family.
Right.
It's a little sad. And my
And
husband and Jimmy and I have gotten a little too old to keep driving. Uh, you know,
that's another thing.
for for eight
And
and
then
10
ticket
hours.
prices are too high. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
We're too old now to keep
Keep
driving
driving.
back and forth to
Yeah.
Illinois,
Yeah.
from Texas.
Yeah.
And family gets upset because we won't come drive. And they say ticket prices, no, thank you. Not right
Right.
now.
Right.
No,
Right.
You
Right.
guys
And
want to see us? Come see us. We've
right.
got a little
no.
space. Our
Yeah.
house is room enough to take in,
Right. Right.
some family, but we can't
Yeah.
get anyone really to come here. So it's just us.
Yeah. And it's just different when you live in another city and you don't have that support. It's like you don't have people just stopping by and all this
Right.
stuff.
We don't.
And you meet friends. Don't get me wrong, you meet
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just a little
It's
different.
a little different.
And something else I wanted to mention, I was going to ask Tamara about.
Hmm.
Back in my day, there were only two or three families that my mother were allowed us to spend the night. She didn't play
Okay.
that, And you hear about so much craziness today with somebody's having a slumber party and this happened and the uncle came over and and it's like, Tamara, how do you plan to? Because I think your daughter's what, 2 or 3?
Oh no,
What'd you say?
she's 6.
Oh, she's 6. I'm so sorry. So yeah, when you get to that point, you might be to that point now. I mean, what are your thoughts on letting her spend the night at her classmates or whatever? Because like I said, my mother didn't play that.
Yeah, I'm at that point. And there was a period where I allowed her to spend the night at a friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
It was somebody that I knew her mom very well,
Mm-hmm.
very spur of the moment. And
Mm-hmm.
I allowed her to stay, but I also noticed how the friend treated my daughter. She's a little older than my daughter, and I
Mm-hmm.
actions. So if it was something where this is where my helicopter parent spidey senses come into play, if it was
Mm-hmm.
something that I didn't feel comfortable with, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
letting you spend the night because I can't trust and monitor and guide things when you're that young.
Mm-hmm.
I have made it a blanket rule now that she can't do sleepovers,
Mm-hmm.
because there's too many things that have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And you can ask people that are in my age group, things have happened and they're just now being comfortable enough to talk about it because,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
this is good for you, or you need to be quiet and don't say this is our little secret. So I'm trying to avoid even the invitation for any of that. So
Mhm.
allowed to have sleepovers with her cousin.
Mm-hmm.
But right now that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to say that was always one of the I loved that part of my childhood was sleepovers. So I actually had a lot of them at my house, and then my kids would go to their house.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of the birthday parties, maybe it's different because they're boys, but I don't think so, because for me, I think I'm maybe because again, my mom being an orphan, and I see so many family things, like people could be the uncle or the aunt or usually uncle, not the aunt, but
Right.
somebody could be in the family cousin even, and there's weird stuff that has gone on
Of
even with
course,
family, like
right,
somebody that you trust and you
right.
think that they're better than a stranger, where their child would have been better with a stranger. So I think like definitely, I think as a mom, you need to follow, like you said, Tamara, you need to, if you're getting a sense that's not right, and your child's still very young, I mean, 6 years old, I don't know. You want to make sure the brain is still developing. You want to make sure your child's old enough to know right from wrong. Somebody's not going to be able to pull the wool over their eyes. But at some point, I would definitely think about lightening up on that rule, because it is definitely a bonding thing for kids.
Mhm.
And there's, I mean, if we're going to go by what we read on Facebook or social media, TikTok, I mean, there's so much, we're bombarded with so much negativity. But I believe the average person is good. I really believe that most people are not these evil people out to like hurt children or
Mhm.
anything. And I one of the things, because again, I run a children's nonprofit. If your child gets lost, I mean, keep in mind, I outreach to parents who have children that are essentially nonverbal. In some cases, they are nonverbal.
Mhm.
One of the things that I have taught and has been backed up by law enforcement is to send your child to a mom with a stroller, because statistically, that's just, if you can't, children can't always find a policeman, like it's like if they get lost. But
Fascinating.
if your
Oh.
child finds a mom with a policeman and says, like my children were essentially nonverbal. So what I did is I took a little Ziploc bag, took
Mhm.
my business card. There's all these safety things. I have like I could probably do a whole like 2 hours on safety things for kids, but
Mhm.
little Ziploc bag with my business card with my numbers on it. And I taught my kids, you take your shoe off, hand the card to the mommy, and then she'll call me. So because basically, I actually had it happen to me. A mother will go out of her way to help a lost
Mm,
child, right? Like
Mhm.
that they don't know. They see a child that's
So
lost,
true.
crying. You will go out of your way
Yeah.
to help that child, to make sure they get back to their mother, at least get
Mhm.
to proper authorities to help them.
Mhm.
So I actually do have like typically that trust for other moms.
Mhm.
I think a lot of statistically, I think a lot of these crimes are usually by men and not women, but
Mhm.
obviously that's you can't make a blanket statement like that. But
Right.
no offense to it's just what I've been reading. I'm not
Right.
saying that, I don't trust
Right.
men or anything like that, but I'm saying like I
No,
usually
no.
send the kids to the moms, to the mom.
Right. Right. And I'm just so happy to see so
Yeah.
much television programming now that's addressing this. Some school teachers have created some videos, and
Mhm.
then other professionals have created stuff. Don't touch me here, don't touch me. I'm gonna, little songs to help kids learn about this stuff. Instead of the mother or grandmother just saying, I mean, that's helpful out of, of course, don't do this and don't do that. But
Yeah.
now they've incorporated it into so many animated
Mhm.
TV shows, and I love that. Love that.
Yeah,
I wish we would
tell
have
you,
had that
Yeah.
back in my day,
tell
younger
you,
when you're.
tell you a little
That's a
weird
great.
thing just happened with the
Uh,
oldest granddaughter.
uh,
Uh, little boy at her school
mhm,
touched her in the wrong place.
mhm.
Mhm.
And well, she decided to settle the
Mm.
situation herself.
Ruh-roh.
She she decked the little boy in the eye since she's been taking karate lessons. She decked him in the eye.
Oh,
Unfortunately, she
hey.
got suspended
Karate
for two
teaches
days.
you let your no mean no.
Yeah, she got suspended for two
She got
days.
suspended.
But yes, she got suspended
Mhm.
for
Hmm.
hitting him.
How old was she?
Oh, she's 9.
Okay.
She's
That's
9.
that's self
And
defense.
yes, that is true. That is self defense. But their thing was they didn't see the little
That's self
boy do
defense all day.
anything to, because they said they didn't see him do anything to her.
Ah,
So she got
that's
suspended for 2 days. But her parents, her mom and dad, definitely let her know you
mhm,
did the right thing in our eyes. You protected yourself. So yes,
right.
they did talk to the parents,
Mhm.
and and the little boy is to stay away from her. And
Mm-hmm.
she says, "Oh, she's not worried." She says, "Because I know how to take care of him from now on." I said, "Go ahead, baby girl, go ahead." So
I was
that's the way that
See
situation
that,
went.
and see it's the, and that's that. The mama in me is rising up right now with that.
Girl,
I'm like,
and
school, your mandated report is like, you need to understand, why is this 9-year-old boy reaching for anyone's private anything? What do you
right,
know about
I,
that? And
right.
why?
I,
Yeah, what's
I
going on in that
asked,
house?
Where your
I
mom
need
and them? They
those.
need to. I need to have a conversation with
And
them.
you can't tell her that her
they
voice,
had a
where's tell that
conversation. They had a conversation with the
young
parents.
lady
Oh,
that
yes,
her
they
voice
did.
is not valid by telling
Right.
her she was wrong.
Exactly.
Ooh,
Exactly.
look at
I
here,
was
school. Do better, school. Oh,
Yes, definitely.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe
Look,
it's.
I'm glad she knew how to defend herself. I do think as moms, we end up having daughters. We end up having those first conversations about what's
mhm.
mhm.
not okay. And just, I remember telling my kids, like, okay, do you all understand stranger danger and all that kind of stuff? And I think
Mhm.
my girls will still remember that if for any reason, like no stranger is to come and pick you up.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And if they don't know, because we pulled a phrase out of Kim Possible. And I was like, if I send anybody to come and get you, they're gonna know hicka hicka boo, who's shy. And if they don't
Mm.
come to you with hicka hicka boo, they are not for you. Don't go with them. So even today, I think I will say hicka hicka boo, and they'll both say who's shy.
Them.
You know, just
And
as a little,
That's so
it was just
cute.
right.
something that fit for them at the time to remember. Everybody that smiles at you is not for you. That doesn't mean that they're with me. You know,
That's right.
we
And
didn't
you
do
reminded
sleepovers as
me.
kids. We didn't do any of that.
Mm-hmm. And you
But
reminded
I
me.
did it with, I did
I
it with our
tried to be
girls.
more.
What say,
Hmm.
Angie?
I did that with our girls. Our code, because we had the three girls.
Mm-hmm.
My code, it was simple. It was just color coded kids
Mm.
was the
Okay.
signal.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Mm-hmm.
knew if you did not say color coded kids, no. And there were really only just a few people who were allowed to pick our girls up. And if it was not one of those, it was normally about three people. If it was not one of those three people, no,
Yeah.
they weren't
Yeah.
allowed to go with them.
Because
So yes.
every once in a while, today you still hear the occasional story about somebody picking up some kid from school that's not
Mhm.
supposed to.
Hmm.
You know, I'm
It's
like,
Right.
usually though, it's usually
aren't
the
these rules
parent.
in place? Would you say, Lise?
It's well here in Florida because we get the Amber Alerts. It's usually from when you look into the story, the
Mhm.
kids who are being picked up from school are usually a parent who lost custody, who's kidnapping the child. It's usually not an actual kidnapper. It's usually a parent, like a
Exactly.
mom or a
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that happens a lot
You
They
here
get
in
may
those,
Texas.
yeah.
those
So
Amber
it
Alerts.
it makes it much more difficult for that child because that's their parent too. And like, even though legally that parent isn't supposed to be with the child anymore for whatever reason,
Uh-huh.
that's still their baby and that's still their mom or that's still their dad. So it's but that's yeah, that's I actually like I actually think that we're only getting snapshots on social media of the stories going on. And in today's world, it's typically the person with the most money wins in the courts. So,
Mhm.
I mean, if unless a child is absolutely being abused by that mom or that dad, I really feel like, if like in other words, if there's child abuse going on and they're being beaten or something like that, and that child is at risk being with that parent, but some of those parents still end up with the kids because they're very wealthy, like they were
That is
beating
so
the mom or
true.
something like
Yeah.
that. So I
Yeah.
think like
That makes me sad
those
too.
stories we have to like kind of like be a little bit more give a little bit more grace because we don't
Right.
really know the whole story
That's true.
why those parents are kidnapping. So I don't always like I don't always think it's a bad thing when I get an Amber Alert if it's a parent. Like, I'm like, I don't know
Yeah,
what's
especially
going
here
on.
in Florida, because I'm in Florida too, and yeah, we get a lot of those Amber Alerts.
Right?
But
It's like,
Tamara, oh,
and
Texas.
it's always like the parent, like every time I check into it, it's always a parent. So it's
yeah,
Mhm.
that is so true. That is true.
Mhm.
And Tamara, now your podcast is called Nailed It
Motherhood.
Motherhood.
Yes, Nailed It Motherhood. What are some of the biggest concerns you hear from mothers about raising their kids, or in general? What are their biggest concerns about
Um,
raising children today?
I interview guests across the spectrum, truly. I think a lot of the focus is that making sure that we as parents are healed so that
Yes.
we can raise our children whole. And that really is my platform. So we talk about all types of strategies that we put into our everyday lives so that we can make sure that the relationships that we have with our children are authentic and
Mhm.
that are truly trying to develop our children into being good people, because we look around and we're seeing, like I'm sorry, like Lisa said, we only see snapshots, but the snapshots that we see are very impactful. So we
Mhm.
try to
Mhm.
protect our children from all of these things and all of these issues that we're seeing. Because of the work that I do, a lot of the issues that I see are equity issues, so racial disparity, and trying to figure out how we are as parents navigating racial disparities, specifically in education, but in extracurricular activities, in going to the store. What are ways that we're teaching our kids to respond to the world around them and still be good within and still make it out, because we see police brutality all over the place, and just so many issues that have come up over this last couple years. So it's really strategies. I see all kinds of topics, doula,
Mhm. Mhm.
mental health topics. I have educators on the show. I see it all. So it's really an exciting opportunity to talk to all kinds of parents and really
Mhm.
dig into their personal parenting journeys and how that aligns with their parenting stories.
Right, right. Now let me ask you another question about the dynamics. And I know we have like Angie's a grandmother, but not Lisa or Jennifer. But I hear stories from grandmothers who they're like, "Oh, my daughter's so pissed off at me because she says that she doesn't like what I fed her daughter or her children, or what I was saying to them, or what I had them watch on TV." Or do you hear a lot of clashes between the grandmothers and the mothers about raising their children?
Is that specific to me or is that for everybody?
That's for you. I'm sorry. Are you hearing that at all? Is that one of the issues that
I
you've come across?
It doesn't really come up too much, but there's always the dynamic of, making sure that you're parenting for your household, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and not
Mm-hmm.
really allowing the voices, like, take what is the phrase, eat the meat and spit out the bone. Take what you think works for your family, because you are responsible for raising your family. But
Mm-hmm.
we do hear about some clashing, but people are mostly respectful on the show, and try to make sure that they're not embarrassing anybody or disrespecting their parents or whatever. I know personally, I've had to kind of correct some people in how to raise my child, because I've raised her since day one. So there are things that work, there are things that don't work. There are things that she can do as far as routine, and there are things that if you break her routine, it messes up a lot for me and her. So I need you to, like,
That
respect the
part.
fact that I put this in place, and please adhere to the things, to the norms that we've set in our family. So there is that dynamic that I know I'm fighting, and I know that a lot of other parents that I know are also fighting. Like, this is my house, and at the end of the day, I have to go back to my house and my family, and I have to reteach the norms because they've been broken, because you don't care about the routines that I've set in place. So I've had that.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I've heard a couple of my girlfriends complain about that. And yeah, because yeah, your grandmothers and back in the day, the grandmothers were, well, my grandmother, but a lot of others I knew were definite pinch hitters. So they were helping to raise us too. And so yeah, they had their own set of rules, and sometimes they would stray from what the parents wanted. And it is so funny because the grandparents back then, at least here again, my grandparent, my world, um, your parents would always drop you off at your grandmother's house, right? And go do
Hmm.
their thing, and if they had a date or whatever. But now you'll see it on Instagram. You'll see the occasional posts on Instagram and Facebook, and where there's a knock at the door or whatever, and it's the at the grandmother's door, and it's her daughter with the two kids. Here, mom, can you watch them? The mom was like, no, girl, I'm going on a shopping trip with my girlfriend. No, I got a date. No, I got, it's like those are your children. Raise your children.
Hmm.
Do you guys so Angie, so
Mhm.
you experience that, or because everybody's busier these days.
Yes,
They have their own lives. The grandparents, they're doing their thing,
yeah.
and sometimes you don't
Well,
have time to have those kids over there.
with the youngest daughter, she's the one
Mhm.
that has the two girls.
Uh-huh.
Uh, uh, James and I normally go away to the casino for I guess, a rest and relaxation, you could call it.
Mhm.
Is what
Mhm.
we do. We don't normally go to gamble or anything. We just go to mainly just rest to get
Right.
away from the area for a few days.
Mhm.
And our daughter and her husband, they also like to go. So we just normally have it set up where if they know we're going, they will wait until after we come back and probably go about a week or two later. That way we can kind of watch the granddaughters uh,
Mhm.
while they're away. So we have that circle going uh,
Okay. Yeah.
pretty well. So she's going to have surgery soon. Well, next month.
Mhm.
She's waiting for the kids to get out of school, and she's
Mhm.
going to have surgery. So we're getting ready to go ahead and go to the casino Sunday for Mother's Day for me.
Right.
So
Right.
that's where I'll be hanging out
Okay.
at the hotel and the
Okay.
casino. Hopefully it'll be warm enough that I can go sit by the pool and look glamorous.
That's right, girl. There you have it. There you have it. No,
But after we
I
come back, then they are going to go
to
to
do
the
their thing.
casino because
Yeah.
after that he's going to have surgery. So
Okay.
that's normally how we
Yeah.
work it.
Give and take. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
as I've said, I'm not a mother, but how has motherhood or mothering others shaped each of you as a woman?
Hmm.
And anyone,
Well,
Jennifer, you can go
I
first, Jen.
think I think part of it, like I just remember growing up, just kind of feeling like I like my mother used to always call me a peacemaker and a peacekeeper, and she used to call me like a caregiver, right? And I think a lot of that has defined me. That's how my mother is. My mother um, is someone that is a peacemaker when she
Mhm.
needs to be, and
Mhm.
otherwise she'll be a peacekeeper. And
Mhm.
she's always been someone that has just always been so giving and nurturing, whether it was her own kids, other people's kids, church kids, community kids. And so that was, I will say, that was something I always aspired. And
Mhm.
so I do think that I've continued that on. I've spent times working in the school system, and I don't know how to not be a mother even in that setting, right?
Mm.
It comes with me wherever I go. I used to even when I was in college, I was watching other people's kids, you
Right.
know,
Mhm.
and it
Right.
was just a
Right.
natural thing. When it came to
Mhm.
my own, um, it was suddenly more weight to the responsibility of it.
Gotcha.
Because you realize, okay, I don't have this life for a couple of hours. I have this life, this is mine to shape and to create. So that part, I think, probably put me into a hyper protective, hyper vigilant mode immediately. But I think that it's also given me purpose for a lot of the last, 24, 25 years of my life. It's given me a lot of purpose to be a
Wow.
mother, to do it well, to lead them to the Lord,
Right, right,
to try and set an example. And I definitely don't claim to be perfect at it. That
right, right.
no.
Oh my God,
Um,
where did the time go? We're running out of time. Okay, somebody else. I'm sorry.
Can I go next only because I have a contractor coming and that's why I'm like, oh,
Yes,
wondering if
yes,
he's here
yes,
early.
yes.
yes.
3 minutes.
Um,
Yeah.
I just so I don't know if everybody knows half of my house got flooded. So it's like everything is just crazy in back of me. This is
Mhm.
not really my house. But anyway, I wanted to say being a mother, I actually feel you're you understand how you would give your life for your child. Like it's like you would
Oof.
throw yourself in front of a bullet, a train, whatever. Like it's and there's instincts and it's a lifelong thing. You give
Yep.
birth and it's not from birth to 18. You are always a parent. Like for the rest of your life, you're
Mhm.
there, you know, for everything about you. That is like I'm not saying it's our only purpose in life, or,
No, no.
obviously we all have other things that we do, but I'm saying it's like you can't understand unless you have that love. It's like I miss like when I'm saying I'm so jealous that you're a grandmother, and I am because I love babies. I love them. I love the smell of their heads and their tiny little feet, their little tiny fingers. They're so cute. But you know what? I love my boys are now young adults. They're like, 28, 30 years old. And I still hug them and I still love them so much. Like
Yep.
you just always you never stop being a mother. It's like it's just
Mhm. It's never
something
empty.
like you become a mothering person, and I think you actually get instincts, like you feel when there's something wrong. You like I think
Mhm.
I always tell people in my nonprofit you have to follow that spidey sense, I call it. Like when you have a gut feeling, I really believe that I think there's scientific evidence to that we as parents, especially us as moms, like we know when something's right and when something's wrong. Like we can feel it. And you know what? If you, Marquita, if you like really, really are starting to feel like you want to have a child, I think you should look into fostering. I think that, at any age, there's children out there like my
Mhm.
mom who are orphans who would love to have a mother. So you could be a mom at any age, and it doesn't have to be from your own body, a
Mhm.
foster, like,
Mhm.
like I brought up with my aunt, like a child that is raised with you is going to see you as their mom and you'll see
Wow.
them as your baby. So.
Oh, very nice. Wow. Anyone else? Because we have like a couple of minutes. Anyone want to piggyback on that? That was something. I
My
felt it.
with
I felt that.
my my thing with being a mom is, as a child, I was not loved by my father. I lived with him the first 14 years of my life. Very
Mhm.
mean, evil man. I
Mhm.
always said when I grew up, if I had children, I was going to smother them with as much love as I possibly could. And having
Mm.
almost died myself at
Mhm.
28,
Mhm.
being a mom of three little kids at that time, God kept me here. So I over smothered them with as much love as I possibly could. My mother is still with me. She'll be 86 this year.
Mm.
My mom, I try to do everything I can for her. She still lives by herself.
Mhm.
And she's always on me about, you do too much for me. You do too much for me. I said, but I'm able to do for you what you were not able to do for your mom because you lost your mom when you were only, what, 21, 22 years of age. She
Mhm.
lost her mom. So I smother my mom with love. I smother our daughters with love. I smother our grandchildren with love
Love
because
it.
a mother is somebody, it took me a long time to realize a mother is someone that you truly still need in your life. Even when you become married, you
Yeah.
still need your mom.
Girl.
So
Mhm.
Girl.
I I love being a mom. I love being a grandmom.
Yes.
I try to tell young ladies, be a lady. And if you're a mom, be a mom.
Mom.
Be a mom. Focus on
Mhm.
your child. Don't worry about him if he's not doing for you. You focus on yourself, you focus on your child, and be the best mom that you
Can
can
be.
be. That's for
Amen.
all women.
Amen.
Be the best that
Amen.
you can be.
Yes.
Always
Amen.
try to learn
And
from someone else. If you see someone, a woman doing what you feel is beautiful, is lovely, you want to be like that, try to
Yes.
be like that person. Don't have to be exactly like that person,
Mhm.
but take some of the things that they do and continue to build yourself as
mm,
a woman, as a mom, as a wife.
woo, woo, girl, fire, fire. I know, and this 1 o'clock is 101, but anybody else have anything to say, Jennifer, Tamara, anybody?
I'll say mine very briefly because I don't want to keep your time or keep the audience. But what I've learned being a parent is really to relinquish my control. Um, I was always a planner and always needed to know what was going on. But Tavia taught me from the moment she was born that that's not the way my world would be living. So she taught me to relinquish control, to be free, to let the walls down, and to just love more because I've always been in a position where I've had to be fight or flight. So
Mhm.
that's what she's taught me in her 6 years of goofiness and living.
Mm, love
Mhm.
it, love it, Jennifer.
I think I agree with what everybody has said. When you have a child, it's like your heart has left your body and you're watching this heart move and grow and do all these different things, but you're attached to that heart forever for the rest of your life. And they're attached to you even when they bristle and get angry or go through stages in life. They always know or should know that mama's got their back. Always that we're going to be there for them no matter what, and there's a
Right.
confidence that comes from their knowing that
Ooh,
there just is, and we're their first teachers, their first love, their first everything, their
that's
first
right.
source of
That's
food. Like
right,
we're that,
right.
and we need to own the power of that and cherish it and keep growing. You know, there are people that do this way better than I did it, better than they, learn and glean what you can as a mother. It's a full time job, even when you got a full time job. So continue to learn and grow because your children will benefit from it. Ask all the questions,
Woo.
but love more than anything else. Just love.
Love
I
it.
love that. And as you guys were talking, I was thinking about my mother was like that with me, the protector. It's like she used to say, "I kill a brick over them. I'll kill a brick over my kids." It's like, oh,
Oh,
right.
Yep.
I just
My
felt that.
kids know. Yep.
Oh my God. And you guys, thank you so much for doing this. I so appreciate you. Great mothers, great examples of mothers. I would have been a mother like you. I would have been a mother like all you guys. My sister, I remember like when I was like early, I mean, like when I was in early 30s, she's like, oh, when you have children, I feel sorry for them because you're not gonna let them crawl on the floor, are you? Because I'm a germaphobe. So it's like, I'm like, yeah. And so but God has a plan and everything. So I have all these little children that I love. And like I have one nephew and a niece and one great niece, and that's it. And so they're like my children. And then, and everybody else's children. I love children. But you guys are great mothers. I so appreciate you for coming on the show, sharing your story. Oh my God, motherhood, so special. And thank you guys for coming
Thank
on.
you, everybody. It was so
It
nice
was
meeting
nice to
everyone.
meet you.
And have a wonderful Mother's Day.
Happy
Happy
Mother's
Mother's
Day.
Day.
Happy
Miss
Mother's Day.
Marcia.
All
Bye.
right. Love you, ladies. Bye
Love you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.